Every morning, no matter who you are, you and I wake up with the same amount of currency. Not dollars, not gold, not Bitcoin. Time, 24 hours. That's it. What's interesting is that by the end of those 24 hours, some people are richer, financially, emotionally, spiritually, while others are poorer. Why? Because of how they spent their time. Time is the ultimate currency. You buy your life with it, and how you spend it determines who you become. Let me ask you, did you spend yesterday moving closer to financial freedom, or did Netflix steal your dreams? Be honest. You see, most people don't understand this. You don't wake up smart, you don't wake up rich, and you don't wake up free. Those are all results of how you've spent your hours, your days, your years. If you trade your time for a paycheck, then at the end of the day, all you really bought was survival. But if you trade your time for learning, for building, for creating, then you're buying freedom. Hey, if you're into real down-to-earth money talks and mindset shifts that actually teach you something, go ahead and hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell. Point 1. The house trap. Why your home is not an asset. Now let's get controversial. People ask me all the time, Robert, isn't buying a house the smartest investment you can make? My answer always shocks them. No, your house is not an asset. It's a liability. Why? Because it takes money out of your pocket every single month. Property taxes, repairs, insurance, mortgage payments, all liabilities. Yes, the house may appreciate over time, but ask yourself, is it putting money into your pocket today? If the answer is no, then it's not an asset. It's a dream you've been sold. Meanwhile, the wealthy don't think in terms of home ownership. They think in terms of cash flow. They don't ask, do I own it? They ask, does it make me money every month? Imagine you own a piece of land in Los Angeles. You could build a house and live in it. Congratulations, you're a homeowner. Or you could build a small apartment complex, live in one unit, and rent the others out. Suddenly, you're not just a homeowner, you're financially free. Your tenants pay your mortgage, and you pocket the difference. Do you see the difference? The middle class buys liabilities and calls them assets. The rich acquire assets that create cash flow. Point 2. Good debt versus bad debt. Donald Trump once told me something I'll never forget. I use debt smartly. I borrow when I know the asset will pay for itself. That's the secret. Debt itself isn't bad. Stupid debt is bad. If you borrow money to buy a liability, a shiny car, the newest iPhone, a big house you can't afford, that's bad debt. But if you borrow money to buy an asset, something that pays you every month, that's good debt. I built much of my wealth using debt. Why? Because I understood one truth. Banks will gladly lend you money if you know how to make money with it. The poor are scared of debt. The middle class drowns in debt. The rich harness debt like a weapon. Which group do you want to be in? Now I know what some of you are thinking. Robert, I don't have the money to buy real estate or build an apartment complex. Perfect. You don't need to. Wealthy people rarely use only their own money. They leverage other people's money, other people's time, and other people's talents. This is called a joint venture. Let's say you own land, but don't have the cash to build. You find a developer. They bring the money, you bring the land, and you split the profits. Suddenly your land went from sitting idle to generating cash flow. The poor say, I don't have money. The rich say, whose money can I use? Another wealth killer in America. Inherited property and lawsuits. How many families do you know who fought bitterly over grandma's house? Suddenly uncles stop speaking. Siblings drag each other into court. And what should have been a blessing turns into a curse. If you inherit property that's tied up in endless lawsuits or family drama, sell it, cash out, reinvest in something you control. Wealth is not just about what you own, it's about what you can control. Here's another truth. Money should serve you. You should never serve money. Most people let emotions control their finances. They fear losing money, so they play small, or they love money so much, they become greedy and careless. Either way, money becomes the master. The rich don't get emotionally attached. They see money for what it is, a tool. Think about a hammer. You don't worship a hammer. You don't fear a hammer. You pick it up and use it to build. Money works the same way. Point 3. Why the wealthy give money away. This one surprises people the most. Giving money away helps you control it. Sounds crazy, right? But here's the logic. When you give, you're sending yourself a message. I control money. Money doesn't control me. That's why billionaires like Buffett and Musk donate millions. Yes, they get tax benefits. But more importantly, giving breaks the power of greed. It creates flow. Money likes to move. If you hoard it, it stagnates. If you use it, it grows. Try it. Give some money away. Not recklessly, but with intention. See how it changes your mindset. I hear this all the time. Robert, I'm over 50. Is it too late for me? Let me ask you, if you wake up at 6 a.m., is it morning? Yes. If you wake up at 10 a.m., is it still morning? Yes. What if you sleep until noon? Well, it's morning for you when you wake up, isn't it? Wealth works the same way. It doesn't matter if you're 20, 40, 60, or even 70. The moment you wake up financially, that's when your morning begins. Point 4. The wealth equation. Picture yourself at 70 years old. Scenario 1. You're sitting in the same house you bought decades ago. It's falling apart. You're buried in medical bills. You're terrified of running out of money. You depend on social security, or worse, your children, to survive. That's not freedom. That's prison. Scenario 2. You're 70, but you're free. Your investments pay you every month. Your home is secure. You travel. You help your grandchildren with their education. And most importantly, you have peace of mind. Which version of you do you want to be? Most people think the answer is to save money, but saving is not investing. Why? Because inflation eats your savings alive. The dollar in your pocket today will not buy the same amount in 10 years. That's why the middle class works hard, saves, and still ends up broke. The wealthy don't save, they invest. Yes, you need savings. 6 to 12 months of expenses for emergencies. That's your safety net. But anything beyond that, it must be invested in appreciating cash-flowing assets. Real estate, businesses, investments that grow faster than inflation. That's how you win. Point 5. Why real estate is the ultimate inflation hedge. When I was a young man, my poor dad, my highly educated school teacher father, told me to save money in the bank. Be smart, Robert, he'd say. A savings account is safe. But my rich dad, the man who became my financial mentor, laughed at that advice. He said only poor people save money because they don't understand money. The bank is not your friend, it's a business, and that business is designed to make itself rich, not you. Today I can tell you that rich dad was right. Saving money is financial suicide. Why? Because of inflation. The dollars in your pocket lose value every single day. In fact, the Federal Reserve is printing money faster than you can save it. Here's the truth. Real estate is the ultimate inflation hedge. Every dollar I've put into real estate has not only kept pace with inflation, it has beaten it. Land appreciates, buildings appreciate, rents rise, and best of all, you can use debt, other people's money, to acquire assets that pay you every month. So let me ask you this. Would you rather have $100,000 sitting in a bank, shrinking in value each year, or $100,000 invested in a rental property that not only grows in value but also pays you passive income every single month? That's the difference between working for money and having money work for you. Now let's get real. Not every real estate story is a fairy tale. During the pandemic, landlords in New York and California couldn't evict tenants who weren't paying rent. The government protected the tenants, not the landlords. Some people lost everything because their entire portfolio was tied up in just one city. Meanwhile, my properties in Texas, Florida, and Arizona continued to produce steady income. Why? Because the policies were different and the economies were stronger. The lesson here is simple. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. If you're serious about building wealth through real estate, diversify geographically, diversify by property type, residential, commercial, short-term rentals, even raw land. Think of it this way. Would you invest your entire life savings into just one stock? Of course not. So why would you buy only one property in one city and bet your future on it? That's not investing, that's gambling. If you're getting value from this message and you want me to continue, like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell. I drop messages like this every day to build your mindset and finances. Thank you. Let's continue. Point 6. A global perspective. I learned this lesson again on a bigger scale when I started buying real estate internationally. I own properties in different countries. During COVID-19, my US properties were protected because the government gave tenants rental assistance. But in some other countries, my tenants couldn't pay, and landlords had no legal protection. Some properties paid, others didn't. And guess what? That's reality. Investing is not about guarantees. It's about managing risk. And the best way to manage risk is diversification. Let me tell you a story. Years ago, I had a tenant in the US who scammed the system. She applied for government rent assistance during the pandemic, pocketed the money, and didn't pay me a dime. She played the court system, delayed for months, and wasted my time. Eventually, she was caught and sentenced to prison. That experience reminded me of something my rich dad told me. Business and investing are not fair. There are crooks, there are loopholes, and there are risks. But if you understand the game, you'll win more than you lose. Most people never even enter the game. They sit on the sidelines, saving money, praying their $401 will save them. That's not a plan, that's a trap. Point 7. Why the old rules don't work anymore. If you think working a 9-to-5 job, climbing the corporate ladder, and saving for retirement will make you rich, you're already playing a losing game. That system was designed in the industrial age, and it no longer works in the information age. Look at the billionaires today. Do they work for a paycheck? Do they save money in the bank? No, they create businesses. They use leverage. They acquire assets. They don't play by the same rules taught in school. So let me ask you, are you working for money, or is your money working for you? Do you depend on one stream of income, or have you built multiple pipelines? When the next financial crisis hits, and it will, are you positioned to win, or are you just hoping to survive? Let me share a strategy I live by. I call it the 50-25-25 rule. 50% in real estate, the foundation of my wealth. It provides cash flow and appreciates over time. 25% in businesses, stocks and digital assets. These are the engines of growth. High risk, high reward. 25% in cash reserves, because opportunities come in recessions. If you don't have cash ready when assets go on sale, you'll miss the chance to get rich. Now, is it always exactly 50-25-25? No, sometimes I adjust. But the principle is the same. Position your money so it grows, protects and gives you control. Point 8. Why most people stay poor. The sad truth is that most people stay broke because they don't understand this simple principle. It's not how much money you make, it's where you put it. Most people earn money and then spend it. The rich earn money and then multiply it. The poor and middle class save money in banks. The rich put money in assets. You see the difference? That's why I say savers are losers. Not because saving is morally wrong, but because inflation and taxes make savers poor, while asset owners get rich. The real game of wealth is not about working harder. It's about working smarter. It's about positioning money to flow where there is value. Money is not the destination. It's just a tool. If you're only working for money, you're trapped. If your money is working for you, you're free. The question is, which side of the game are you on? Point 9. Should you travel abroad to make it? Let me be blunt. Moving to another country will not magically solve your money problems. I've seen this pattern over and over again. People think if I move to Canada, or the UK or America, my life will instantly be better. They believe geography will change their financial destiny. But here's the harsh reality. No one tells you people in those same countries are struggling with depression, loneliness, and financial stress. Many are working 2 or 3 jobs just to survive. Some can't even afford to return home because they sold everything to chase the dream without a plan. The truth is, success has less to do with your zip code and everything to do with your skill set. I was born and raised in Hawaii. My family wasn't rich. If I had believed that wealth was only possible by leaving the US or moving to a better place, I would have spent my life chasing shadows. Instead, I stayed put, learned how money really works, and built financial freedom right where I was. Let me tell you a secret. The greener pasture is not a geographical location. The greener pasture is where you are when you finally learn to turn your ideas into assets. You don't need to run to another country to succeed. You need to build the right skills, leverage opportunities, and think globally. Today, with remote work, online business and digital skills, you can earn dollars from anywhere. So don't waste years of your life thinking another country is the answer. Instead, ask yourself, am I valuable in today's economy? Am I building assets or just looking for a higher paycheck? Am I running toward opportunity or running away from responsibility? Because if you don't fix your money mindset, all you're doing is exporting your problems overseas. Point 10. Why most people fear debt, and why the rich use it to get richer. Now let's talk about debt. Most people hear the word debt and immediately panic. Why? Because they were trained to fear it. In school, debt was painted as dangerous, shameful, something you should avoid at all costs. And to be fair, bad debt is dangerous. Credit card debt, personal loans, car loans, that kind of debt makes you poorer. It's slavery. It keeps you stuck. But the rich don't see debt as something to avoid. We see debt as a tool. Let me ask you this. How did Donald Trump build his empire? Debt. How do real estate moguls own entire city blocks? Debt. How do billionaires expand businesses? Debt. The poor borrow to survive. The rich borrow to multiply. I learned this lesson from my rich dad. He used to say, there's good debt and there's bad debt. Good debt makes you richer. Bad debt makes you poorer. The key is knowing the difference. When I started investing in real estate, I used the bank's money. I wasn't buying properties with cash. I borrowed money, tenants paid the rent, and that rent paid off the loan. Over time, the property appreciated, my cash flow increased, and I built wealth without using my own money. That's financial intelligence. So the real question is not should I avoid debt? The real question is, do I know how to use debt to create assets? And if you don't, then the future is going to be rough, because the world is changing fast. Artificial intelligence, automation, and technology are replacing traditional careers. Robots are performing surgeries. AI is handling legal research. Accounting software is doing work faster than humans. If you're relying on a job and avoiding financial education, you're setting yourself up for failure. So here's what you must do now. Embrace technology, learn AI, automation, digital business, invest smartly, real estate, stocks, crypto, high-income skills, monetize your gift, package your talent, sell it, turn it into an income stream, build influence, whether in business, ministry, or media. Your ability to attract attention equals your ability to generate wealth. Stop waiting for promotions. Stop hoping for the government to save you. Build your own economy, because if you keep playing by old rules, you'll be left behind. Point 11. Why you don't read books and how to fix it. Now let me hit you with something most people won't admit. You don't read books. Oh, you buy them. You stack them on your shelves. You post them on Instagram, but you don't actually finish them. And I get it. You say you're too busy. But let's be honest. If I handed you a book that contained the secret to making $1 billion, you'd read it cover to cover without sleeping. So the problem isn't discipline, the problem is motivation. You don't read books because you don't have a strong enough reason. Look at Elon Musk. Do you think he read hundreds of engineering books for fun? No, he was obsessed with building something world-changing. Books were his weapon. Jeff Bezos didn't study business strategies for entertainment. He was driven by a vision. When your why is strong enough, reading becomes effortless. Now let me show you how to hack your brain into reading more. Attach reading to a habit you already have. Everyone goes to the bathroom at least once a day. Put a book there. It's what I call the toilet revelation strategy. 1 page per visit equals 1 book per month. Turn your car into a classroom. Stop wasting hours listening to the same music. Use audiobooks. Listen to them over and over. Repetition burns knowledge into your brain, just like song lyrics. Engage multiple senses. Reading silently is weak. Read out loud. See the words. Hear yourself say them. Speak them. The more senses you use, the deeper the information sticks. Underline, highlight and take notes. Passive reading is wasted reading. Mark the page. Write in the margins. Turn the book into a conversation with your future self. Why do this? Because you are one book away from a financial breakthrough. Warren Buffett reads 500 pages a day. Bill Gates reads as if books were oxygen. Why? Because they know something the average person doesn't. Your mind is your greatest asset, and yet most people let their brain rot on Netflix and TikTok. So here's the bottom line. If you want to change your financial future, stop making excuses. Start small. Read 5 minutes a day. Apply what you learn, because the most powerful investment you'll ever make is not in stocks, not in real estate, not in crypto. It's in your own mind. Finally, the difference between where you are today and where you want to be is hidden in the knowledge you haven't yet acquired. Don't wait for another country to save you. Don't fear debt. Learn to use it. Don't avoid books. Devour them. Because your future wealth is not a matter of luck. It's a matter of financial education. Let me leave you with this. Do you want to spend your life working for money, or do you want to build assets that work for you? Do you want to leave a legacy of wealth, or a pile of bills? Do you want to be financially free, or financially fragile? The choice is yours. At the end of the day, time is your biggest asset, or your biggest enemy. The poor trade time for money. The middle class trade time for liabilities. The rich trade time for freedom. So the question is simple. How are you going to spend your 24 hours today? Will you invest in yourself? Will you build assets? Will you take control of money? Or will you waste it, hoping someday things will magically get better? The choice is yours. And remember this, it's not how much money you make, it's how much you keep, how hard it works for you, and how many generations it serves after you're gone. If this video brought you value, or stirred something in you, give it a like, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear this. Videos like this take weeks of research, writing and care to create. Don't just watch and go away. Drop your thoughts in the comments section. I'd love to hear what stuck with you the most.